Today,
I'm doing all right. What are you working on?
I am doing some stitching on the Sashiko.
Okay.
Welcome to New It Too, everybody.
Hi.
It's Jan and Kaylin coming to you from the Oklahoma City location of BSON. And a few weeks back, we were doing something else. I don't remember now what it was, but we had somebody had mentioned on one of the comments that they would love to see something on Sashiko.
Okay.
And I thought, it's been a good while since we've done something on Sashiko, so why not? I love when you all are commenting and helping us know what kind of things are important to you so that we can feed some of that information
Definitely.
in as well. So this is the Sashiko.
Okay.
So some of you may or may not be familiar with this machine. It is a fabulous machine that is the only machine in the world that is capable of making a stitch that looks like hand sewing.
Okay.
So Sashiko is a Japanese sewing style where it was hand sewn to be the quilted looking stitches, but the ways they did the patterns and everything were very specific to Sashiko.
Okay.
And one of the creators of this machine was a Japanese woman. Ooh, I can't think of her name now off the top of my head. We could make this a fun contest and you all could see if you can look it up.
Somebody
and
comment
about
the
it.
name of the...
I should know her name and I apologize that I don't. But they came up with the Sashiko that makes it look like that hand stitching. The extra little bit about this that makes it even that one step more is that on the back side, the stitching is a locked stitch so that it's not going to come undone. If I were to break a thread here, it stays locked along the whole way.
That's nice.
And it's pretty simple to use because it really only has a few different things you can change on it.
Okay.
You can change the stitch length
Yeah.
and you can change the space between each stitch.
Okay, easy
Beyond
enough.
that, it does one type of stitching. It's how creative you are with it.
Right.
And you can make ruffles, you can make all sorts of fancy things. We've done some things at Club a few months back where we ruffled fabric doing this, pleated it. We did the stitching.
Braiding.
Yes, I mean this is braiding some decorative threads along the way. So the world is your oyster on how creative you want to be. I've had people say things like, but it only does one thing. Well, that's true. It does that one thing incredibly well. It's what you do with that one thing.
Definitely.
And for a lot of people, what they want is that look of hand quilting, but they don't want to have to hand quilt something.
Yeah, sure.
I know I used to love to hand quilt, but as time went on, I don't see well enough to be able to do that and feel like I'm doing an effective job. And it just takes forever.
It does.
And my patience level apparently is not good
Not
at
high
hand
enough.
quilting either. So while I still love that look, I also have a Sashiko so that I can make it look like that without the stress of my eyes or the stress of the time constraints that puts in there. So if you can come up closer here,
Okay.
let me show you what this is doing. So if you can see right here, there is a place up here that has thread on it. This is simply so I can wind a bobbin.
Okay.
There is no top thread on here.
Okay.
This is just the bobbin winding apparatus. The bobbin comes in down here because this is not really a needle.
It's a hook.
It's a hook. And there's a little divot right there in it that comes down and picks up the thread. And then there's a little black thing right here. I'm going to turn it so you can see it. This is called, can you see that right there?
It's the latch wire.
It's the latch wire, this right here. And the latch wire slides up that hook right there. And that's what helps pick it up because really it's a double looped thread.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be right close here where you can see, and see how it picks up a loop?
Right, and it's every other because it's the gap and then the stitch.
The gap and the stitch. And I'm sitting off to the side. So my straight stitching, you mess with my ability to sew straight every week. But it's really making a looped stitch so it's double thread thick on each stitch, and you can also set it so that the needle can either end in the up position,
Okay.
or if I push the button it can be in the down position.
Which
and
lets you pivot. Good thing like
right,
that.
so if I wanted to be able to pivot and turn, I can do that. But if I want it to end in the up position again, I can just push it so that it goes back to the up position.
Okay.
And then when I'm finished stitching, I would just pull straight back. And then this little part right here has a blade inside there that cuts the thread off.
To hold tension on it.
And so you can see all I did was take this polka dot fabric, and I didn't do anything crazy fancy. I just made lines that
Yeah.
went in and out all of my polka dots.
Yeah,
On the
very
back
cute.
side, you can see it is a constant stitch,
Mm-hmm.
which is, you know, I know it doesn't look like hand stitching on the back side, but most people are looking at the front of your quilt.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So that's what that's going to look like. I want to show you how easy it is to thread this machine. It is different from any other kind of sewing machine, and I want to show that to you because I think it helps you understand that it's not complicated, but it is its own one little thing to do. And if you have a Sashiko, maybe this will be some helpful information for you. And if not, and you're interested in it, you'll find out that it's really not that hard to do.
Okay.
Okay, so if you'll come back closer over here.
Okay.
You see right here on the front here,
Yeah.
we had needle up, we have needle down, and then this part is the bobbin case. You have to push the button to get the light down here so that it rotates the bobbin case into the position you need it to be in to be able to get it set correctly.
Okay.
So I'm going to hold that button down, and you see it rotated around until that green light came on. Now the bobbin case is engaged correctly.
Okay.
And then I'm going to open this door. Right over here, there are instructions in here.
Very
There's a
good.
manual that comes with this as well.
Of course.
But I always think it's much more, I'm a very video, show me kind of person.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see over here just fine?
I can.
Okay, because I can't tell what you can see. And
I
I'm going
got
to
you.
try and not get my hands in your way.
okay.
So this looks like a typical bobbin case. I'm just going to take this one out, and I'm going to take the bobbin out. This is a class 15 bobbin, which is not different from what we use on the Solaris Vision, the Chorus, the Zest. This is the same bobbin. Okay, so
Yeah.
we would have wound that bobbin up here.
Okay.
And then this is that bobbin case.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's where it's a little bit different. Do you see here? It kind of has this little felty mustachy thing.
Mm-hmm.
That keeps the thread from getting all twisty.
Okay.
And then up here, there's a little eye for you to be able to put the thread through here. But if I
Okay.
turn it sideways, can you see?
It's two, yeah.
It's two of them.
Mhm.
Okay. I've always called this the tail and this the mustache.
Okay.
Okay, because a mustache goes up and a tail goes down.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. I don't know what other people call it. That's what I
I
call
call it the feet and then a mohawk.
Okay, that works too.
Yeah.
And there's a little spring that's inside there that helps keep the bobbin pushed into the inside of the machine.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, we have this in the right position. We have the bobbin that's been wound, and you can use lots of different types of thread on here. You can't use something that's too heavy because the hook has to be able to pick it up.
Sure.
And if it's too thick, it can't pick it up. So I'm just using basic sewing thread right here. I'm going to put the bobbin in, and it's going to spin clockwise.
Okay.
Just like you would any kind of front loading
Yep.
or side loading bobbin, as opposed to a top load. There's a groove on the side. I go in the groove and I snap it underneath.
Just like a top loading bobbin.
And I'm just going to go ahead and trim this so that I have a nice sharp edge here. And this is the inside of the bobbin, and I'm going to go through both of those holes
From the inside to the
from
outside.
the inside to the outside.
That is actually super important.
Right. If you go from the outside to the inside,
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Because whenever this goes in here, this hook is going to come down
gonna grab that
between
thread.
that, and that's where it's going to pick up that
Yep.
thread,
Yep.
which is why there's two holes there. But remember, I said that was my tail,
So
and that
this
was
is the
my
bottom.
mustache. So the tail goes down, and the mustache goes up. And I'm going to snap this in. Can you show where that yellow dot is?
Here, hang on. Right there. Yellow
Okay.
dot.
So you
With
get to
the
help
little
me,
groove
'cause
there.
I can't see very well from here. I can't see it at all,
Here,
as a
let
matter
me
of fact.
There we go.
So
oh
it's-
wait, almost.
so it's
there
snapped
we
in
go.
place.
Okay, it's hard to do from around a camera.
It is. So I'm going to pull this out for about 12 inches,
Okay.
and I'm going to turn the hand wheel towards me.
Okay.
Hand wheel's over here on the side.
Yep.
And I don't have a death grip on this. I just have a,
But it needs to be taut, right?
and
spin it
do you
once.
see how it picked it up? And I'm going to take my little scissors and I'm going to sweep that out from under there because I needed the thread on top.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hold it out here to the side again.
Okay.
And I'm going to turn the hand wheel again, and this time I'm holding it taut, and it pulls it over here on this little swiper thing.
Yep.
And once it pulls that, I'm going to shut the door, and then I'm going to go underneath my little groove, and that can cut the thread off. It holds it in place.
And it has to be kept taut like that.
It does,
each
because
time.
that thread had to be tight enough between those two holes for the hook to pick it up.
Okay.
So that when I come back over here to my fabric, I'm going to put my presser foot down. I have the ability to change the presser foot height and the presser foot pressure from these different things. I'm just going to leave it where I had it, and I'm going to start stitching, and it picks up the thread, it makes a stitch, it makes a space. I'm going to make mine be a really long stitch in a really short space so you can kind of see the difference. And I'm going slow just so you can see. And remember, I had it stopping in the up position. I'm going to have it go down so I can pivot. And I'm going to come back this way, but now I'm going to change it to a short stitch and a long space so that you'll be able to compare it over here to this side.
Oh yeah.
And I want my thread to go back, and my needle to position to go up so I can hook it around. And you can see the difference between a long stitch and a short stitch, and I can do just about anything else in between.
Yeah.
So that's just a short little idea of what you can do with this machine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that being said, I want to show you some practical applications on how we can utilize this wonderful machine on everyday projects you're doing, because sometimes people will say things like, but I'm not quilting anything.
Right.
Okay, you don't have to be quilting. I think that this is a lovely stitch that you can do if you're doing garment work, to do as top stitching, or if you're doing it on napkins. There's so many different ways you can utilize a stitch that looks like hand stitching so that you don't have to actually sit there and hand stitch it. So with that being said, actually I left my little book. Here it is. I was like, where did I put it? I had myself all set up. Last week we talked about page 25. This week we're going to talk about page 24.
Okay.
And
Going
one
backwards,
of the things
huh?
that we have in here is this utility apron is posted on here, and this is a QR code. As you know, if you'll take your phone and you'll hover over that, have to just get on your camera. You have to teach us old folks how to use QR codes.
you know how to use
You're not actually taking a picture of it. You're scanning it until that little yellow box shows up.
Center it in the camera.
Yes, dear. And then it pulls up the Sewing and Craft Utility Apron Project, and there's the materials, the tools, the steps, all the instructions
free
to be able
project.
to make this free project, this wonderful apron.
Very nice.
Is that not fun?
So you can use your Sashiko to do decorative stitching on your waistband, to hold
Right.
down your
Right,
pockets.
so we printed off the instructions just so you can show you. We pulled it up, I printed it off, I have it on there. I also wanted to show you that this machine is kind of like the Sergers, that it comes with a quick reference guide.
Oh, very good.
That's all about what the different lights mean, how to insert the bobbin, how to pull up the thread. I mean, this is a very useful tool right here in nice big print so we can see it. But what I was going to show you is this has a waistband on it so you could tie your apron on. And while I haven't made the apron itself,
Do your top stitching along there.
I do have a piece of like a little quilt sandwich right here, and I have a strip here.
Okay.
Now sometimes you think, well, it's looks like hand stitching, so I'm going to need to go to a sewing machine. I can still sew with this machine.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just going to make it be a short stitch with a short space, so I have a very close together stitch. Now we're pretending like this was our
Or waistband.
waistband, so I'm going to kind of try to center it in there. And get that all geared up here. I have measurements that I can follow here, so I know how deep into this is going to go. So I've got it on about 1/2 inch right there. So I know I'm getting a good bite of my fabric. I'm going to just stitch this on. So you can sew on this if you want to. You don't have to switch machines, because it's going to be a locked stitch on the back side. And even though I don't need it to look like hand stitching on the inside, this is a lot easier than me going and switching out to a different machine when I can just accomplish my task all on one machine. It definitely has a sound of its own.
It does, because it's a two-part stitch. You kind of have like a, you know, a ka-thunking kind of
Yeah.
rhythm to it.
I think it kind of sounds like train tracks.
Oh yeah. Okay. I can
Yeah.
hear that.
Maybe we could sing some
No.
songs.
Nope. I'm good. You can sing.
I'll pass.
I can talk to a crowd for hours. I can't sing for 2 seconds.
That's not true. I've heard your voice. So I've got that part finished. So you can see I was able to stitch this on. Can you see how nice and tight that stitching was?
Very nice.
And on the back side, it's a completed stitch,
Right.
right? So now I'm going to go ahead and I want to make this a longer stitch
For
with a
top
longer
stitching.
space
Mm-hmm.
because I want a top stitch on here. And
Just flip it up.
if I
And
flip
top
it up,
stitch, yeah.
obviously I'm not really making a waistband, but
Yeah, you know.
now we can see how this adds that decorative touch so that it looks like I hand stitched the waistband down. And it's something, I'm only doing a straight line right now, but this machine is capable of doing really tight curves too.
Oh yeah.
Look how pretty that is to look
Very
like the
nice.
hand stitching on there.
Mhm. Yeah, that'd be a great addition to that.
Isn't that wonderful?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a few other things that we have going on page 24.
Okay.
Sashiko wasn't in there, so I'm showing you some other things. We talked about the utility apron, and I wanted to talk to you about something I have sitting right here beside me.
How convenient.
This is the
Kabloom.
It's the Kabloom trolley from Tudo, and it's the Tula Pink version of it.
So bright
Tula
and
Pink
fun.
always has the most crazy, fun, wild colors and designs and floral prints. This is one of them. This is the other one. The one that's in the catalog is actually this size.
Yeah, the XL.
That's the XL, and this is the large one.
So this one we still have folded up, like if you were storing it, and this one we've opened up so you can see the full kind of print.
Right. So for a lot of people, sometimes the reason they don't want to get luggage is because they don't have somewhere to store it. And I get it. I mean, you know, there's only so much room in your house. But when you have a piece of luggage that you can fold up, the way this one works is you push in the little silver buttons, and when you push those in, that collapses, and I would do all four of them
And
so
the
that
whole
I
thing
end
folds up.
with the whole thing collapsing down.
Yep.
And then it's taking up just
Way less space.
not even half the amount of space.
Mm-hmm.
And these have swivel wheels on them, which is one of my favorite things too, so that if you want to travel with it, it's easy to pull it around. It is soft-sided, but it does have the rigid bars on it, so it's
Yeah.
going to protect your machine really well. If it doesn't fit through the top, you can fit them in through the side.
Mm-hmm.
Some machines have a wider base on one end than the other, but they're beautiful Tudo trolleys that we have in stock at our stores. And we have the extra large one, regularly $319. It's on sale for $219.99. $100 off. That's
Yeah,
a
that's great.
sweet deal on a Tudo trolley. Okay, well, let me take you over here and show you a few other things. Stealing my fabric for something else.
Okay.
You want to come around this way, Caleb?
I will do my best not to give everybody
Not to make everyone feel like they're gonna be sick. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk to you about is we also have the Baby Lock machine tote. This one is for the smaller machines.
It's a genuine collection.
It is a genuine collection tote, so most of your genuine machines will fit in here. And it's got the Velcro handle on it. It's a zipper bag. I think
It's got a solid base.
yes, it does have a solid base, which is nice because it's not just soft all over.
It'll support the machine.
That's
yeah.
the bottom of that.
Yep.
I'm not knocking on my leg. I'm knocking on
I hope not.
And it's got little feet on it to help protect it.
Right.
And the other thing is maybe you just need a bag to carry some of your supplies in. So this would be great if you were just needing something to carry fabric and tools into. You don't have to put a machine in here, but you certainly can put a machine in here. So that is the Genuine Collection bag, and that one is regularly selling for $49.99, and we have it on sale for $38.99.
Nice.
And it's really pretty.
It is very pretty.
It is very pretty. We also have the Genuine Collection Beginner Sewing Kit. And in here, it comes with pins, thread, scissors, needles, a marking pen. I'm quite
There's a
certain there's
thimble.
the thimble and
there's
the
a seam
seam
ripper
ripper
in
in there
there
too. I
somewhere.
can't see it from where it's at, but I know
Oh,
it's.
there it is. It's on the side.
Oh, is it down there? Oh, there it is, and it's. I love
another
that kind.
marking pen.
I love this kind that has that little rubber tip on it because
Mm-hmm.
after you rip your seam, you can take that rubber tip and it just pulls all those little stray threads out of there
Yeah.
instead of having to pick them out. So there's that. That is regularly $109 and it's on sale for $87.
Great.
We also have here the 17-piece foot kit. We've been talking about all sorts of different feet for your machine, and the 17-piece foot collection fits pretty much every machine.
All the
model we
snap-on,
have. All the
snap-off feet.
snap-on ones.
Mhm.
And inside this bag, you are going to have, it has a shoulder strap. All the different feet, they're inside here. I can feel it right there. Like
it is,
there's the
yep.
foot. So, and it's got the little card so you know where to put it back in there. Then
Comes with
there's
the
a booklet that
instructions.
gives you the instructions about how to utilize all the different ones. It's also in French if you read French.
If you live in Quebec.
Yep. And all of them are in here. Plus there's room to put more in here. It's a great little, I mean, see, like if you bought some extra feet, you
Right,
have a
there's
place
more
to store
slots.
them.
Yeah, very
So
good.
that is a wonderful tool. That is regularly $455 that we have on sale for $363.99.
That's great to get
So
all
it's a
those
great
feet.
way to get all 17 of those feet. We also have here the Tula Pink. Is that one on this page? Yeah,
It
is.
is.
It's right there. It's just not in the
It's
box.
just not in
on
its
here.
box, yeah.
The Tula Pink, which if you're going to get you a Tula Pink Tudo bag,
You should get the
need some
Tula Pink scissors.
They have that beautiful kind of iridescence to them. I love this. Can you see that right there? What it says on there?
Fabric only.
Yeah, so in case somebody in your house tries to steal your scissors, Tula went the extra mile and said, don't touch.
Don't touch these.
This. So those are on sale. They're regularly $82.99. We have those on sale for $58, and you're going to get snips and a pair of shears.
Nice.
Wonderful scissors. Love that. You can't have too many pairs of scissors. If
That's
you're like me,
true.
I take them out, I lay them down, I go over there to do something, and now I don't have scissors over there. So I just keep scissors,
Just buy an extra pair and have it in
scissors and
both
seam
spots.
rippers and tape measures
You
everywhere.
can't have, yeah.
Yes. Okay, and then another thing that we have here is the Katona variegated thread. This is a beautiful cotton thread. Katona is one of my favorites, and I love the variegation. This would be a wonderful thread to use on the sashiko that we just showed.
Oh, yeah.
So not only are you going to get that beautiful hand-stitched look, but when you have the variegated thread, it just adds yet another beautiful decorative element
It
to
does.
it.
Yeah, very
This is regularly $60 for the 18 spool pack. It's on sale for $48.
Very nice.
I think they look like
They're beautiful
yummy,
colors.
yummy candies. Yep. I don't think they taste good, but they sure look pretty.
Well, I'm not going to test that theory.
Okay, so we're also going to talk about a very important foot, which is the 1/4-inch guide foot. Some models come with a 1/4-inch foot, some do not. It is a wonderful thing to have because if you're doing your quilting and your piecing, you need to have the ability to have a 1/4-inch foot. This one is in the catalog on sale. It is regularly $16. It's on sale for $12.99. So it's a really great deal on that one. And it has markations on it. Let me show you here.
Okay, coming in.
Okay, so when you see, of course, you're using straight stitch on that. If you try to use something other than a straight stitch, you'll hit the foot.
Yes. So
But
definitely use the center.
this is
stitch
where your
stitch.
stitching is going to go, and then right here, from this here to this here, is a 1/4 inch. But you see how there's little lines that kind of go along here?
Yeah.
So that if you were to turn your fabric, you can tell if you've rotated a true 1/4 inch off
very
of that.
nice.
So this is one style. This is the one that's in the catalog that's on sale. You can also get one that has a guide that runs along the side so that your fabric can line up to it.
They also have one that's clear if you prefer to
Yes.
see your fabric going under.
And then there's one that's a little bit wider, has a little bit broader
You got
plate right
lots
here.
of options.
So there are a lot of options. There's also a 1/4 inch foot that works on the digital dual feed belt driven foot
Yeah.
that snaps onto that. So we have options. The one in the catalog is the one I just showed you.
Okay.
Okay, also in the catalog is the Baby Lock Stitch in the Ditch foot.
Okay.
And this is the one I'm going to show you today.
Okay.
This foot does not come with any of the machines that I'm
Yeah, I don't think
aware
any.
of.
I don't think it comes with any machines
yeah,
now that I think about
it's
it.
an add-on kind of foot. But I always think to myself, do I really need something that can stitch in the ditch? Surely I can figure this out.
I
So
found that's never
let's
true.
come over here. We're back
Okay.
to the chorus over here. And even though this isn't necessarily an application that I would have done a stitch in the ditch, I created a ditch.
We've got a ditch, so we're gonna stitch in it.
And so I want to show you kind of the difference here. I'm going to sew a little bit of the way, and I'm just going to use a regular J-fit because y'all need to own up to this. You're just as guilty as I am that sometimes you just don't change the foot out because you're like, it'll be fine, and it's not. So I'm going to just get a straight stitch loaded on here. Of course, it always comes up to that one. I've got some nice dark thread on here. I think it'll be easy for you to see. And I think I'm a pretty good seamstress, but it can be hard to stay in the ditch. There's a little center line right there. And I'm just gonna stitch for a little ways and see if I can keep that going straight on there, alrighty?
Okay.
I mean, I'm not doing too bad. And you're not making me move out of the way either,
I've got a good angle from here.
but I'm gonna go ahead and stop.
Okay.
Because, you know, I blinked a few times and I think I looked away a couple of times.
Okay. Okay. So we've stopped.
So let me cut the thread.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, I did have to I blinked a few times and I looked away a little
Well,
bit.
you know, you're not allowed to blink.
And I actually think I was trying to really do a good job, but look, it's not right on.
Mm-hmm.
And then as I go down here, I looked away. And so my point being, if you're doing stitch in the ditch, you're typically doing it with two different colors. And so
Sure.
you have to decide, well, which color is the
I want
thread
to
going to
see?
match?
Mhm.
And so do I need to like err on the side of it being on
Stitch
top
onto the
of
dark
it?
or
But
onto
I'm
the
really
light,
trying to do
right.
in the ditch.
Right.
So we have the stitch in the ditch foot. And this one is nice because it's got a broader footprint, which covers up all of those feed dogs. So you can see, if I just lay those back to back, how one is a little wider,
Yep,
right?
Yep. Yep.
So that when I put this one on, it's actually covering all of
All
those.
5 rows of feed dogs. Very nice.
Okay, and this one also has the little button on it, just like when you saw our J-fit demonstration. Same kind of thing, because sometimes you get into thicknesses on a quilt.
Right.
So that's still in there, but it is a snap-on foot. So, but it has this little apparatus on here, I'll get it where you can see better, that's screwed onto it so that whenever I'm stitching, this is kind of like a plow that's gonna go down
Yeah.
between my, where my pieces of fabric meet.
Okay.
And it makes it, now, I'm gonna try my best to do a really good job for you, okay? But when I put that on there, I can see, now you're gonna have to let me be where I can actually see.
Here, let me come this way.
Say, I have to be able to be straight where I can see it. And I can see, can you see right there that
Yeah,
that's
the paddle's
that
right up against
it's
that.
right up against that. So it's kind of plowing, and what it happens is instead of, you know, these two pieces of fabric kind of lofting together, it plows between it and it kind of presses it out so that the stitch ends up in the ditch.
Yep.
Funny how that happens. Ooh, I went over the top of it, I could tell I did. But I can also kind of pull my fabric aside a little bit.
Kind of right in there.
Mm-hmm. But that way I know I'm going in my ditch because I have that thing flowing down the side of it. Kind of like on a 1/4-inch foot with a guide, you know that your fabric's right up next to that edge so that it's going to be in the right place. And this is doing the same type of thing, it's just doing it in the middle of the fabric.
Right.
Okay. Okay, you ready?
Moment of
Wait,
truth.
I'll tell you. It is like spot on right there on the ditch.
There you go.
Okay? And I could
Okay.
move my needle too if I want to, but this is the stitch in the ditch foot. And again, this is on page 24. Oh my gosh, I can't get hold of my paper. It's on page 24, and the stitch in the ditch foot is regularly $22. We have it on sale for $17.99.
Okay.
And it's one of those game changer things. You use what is available, and you will find out that you end up with much better results for what you're trying to do. Okay?
All right.
All right. So we've talked about some of these before, but guess what? These events haven't happened yet, and if there's anything, we want you to be very well informed,
Oh,
okay?
yeah, yeah.
So the Floriani Total Embroidery Masterclass, $39. It is coming up this weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday dates for Springfield's Thursday, Fayetteville Friday, Tulsa is on Saturday, and then Humble and Oklahoma City, you are at the end of May.
Yes.
So you still have time to sign up for that, but you still have time to sign up for the other 3 stores. You're going to have DJ and Debbie there, and they're going to be talking about all things Floriani software, Floriani threads, stabilizers. Great event. Of course, we're showing you the Oklahoma City one here, but call your store. If you want to get into this, it's not too late.
Just a few
We
seats
want you to
left.
join us. $39, feed you lunch. You're going to have a great time. Worth the trip. We also have the Quilt Floor Canvas class. That one's coming up June 7th or
Or
June
8th.
8th. It's a 9 to 4 class. It's a 1-day class. You'll either do this one or this one for $149. You're going to make this fabulous firecracker mat sewing class. Lots of fun.
So fun.
Lots of fun. We also have summer camp. School is almost over. It is
Oh, I know
May.
it.
I
I know
remember
it.
these days when I was young mom with little kids, and it's like you couldn't wait for summer to get here, so you didn't have to do the drag of drag them out of bed, take them to school, and it's like oh no, now they're mine all summer. So you have to have something for them to do.
That's right.
And so one of the things that you can have them do, summer camp. So neighbors, church friends, nieces, nephews, grandkids, your own children, whoever it is, Project Sew is going on at 4 different locations on multiple weeks, multiple times. We have a morning session, an afternoon session. For $299, they get their own sewing machine, a sewing kit, the fabrics, the tools, the instructions. They'll make the kits. We'll have a blast. It's so much fun.
It really is.
It really is. So again, remember, our catalog is going on through May 31st. So we've shown you some fun things in here. I hope that you all enjoyed yourselves, learned a lot. As always, we want you to do something for us. Like, share, and comment so we know what kind of things we can bring to you. Come see us at any one of our stores, Oklahoma City, Muskogee, Tulsa, Fayetteville, Springfield, or Humble, or visit us online at bsewin.com. Always something fun going on in Be Sew In world. We look forward to seeing you again next week.